Morning, folks. I'd like to welcome you all to the Pioneer Tunnel.
It's a
Very special day. Are we good, Racer? In honor of William Gilbert, and I'd like to welcome all of the descendants of William Gilbert to the Pioneer Tunnel. As far as the Pioneer Tunnel is concerned, really the history of the locomotives here, Henry Clay 1 and Henry Clay 2, start in 1962 when they were brought here, rescued from a junkyard, lovingly refurbished by John Riley, our original engineer, and they've been running for us for 51 years. And really that's the history that's told about the engines at the Pioneer Tunnel. But in all honesty, that's not an accurate history. And for those of us old enough to remember, there was a wonderful radio column years ago. It was Paul Harvey, and his byline was, "This is Paul Harvey with the rest of the story." And that's what we're here for today, is to tell the rest of the story about our 1927 Vulcan and our 1926 Vulcan. The rest of the story is absolutely amazing. Prior to 1962, that's where we have to begin. 1927, William Gilbert, a man who rose from very humble beginnings, started as a breaker boy, put himself and his sister through college, rose to own his own stripping contract. A real rags to riches story, amazing story from the coal region. And Mr. Gilbert commissioned 4 Vulcan locomotives. We were fortunate we own 2 of them. We own Mr. Gilbert's number 3 locomotive and his number 2 locomotive. Number 3 is the one that we run on a daily basis. And it's Mr. Gilbert met a tragic end. He died young, left behind a young family. Amazingly, his wife was able to run the company for 10 years after his passing, which in the 30s, that's amazing that a woman was able to compete in what really was a man's world, the coal mining and stripping operation. But we're here today to pay tribute to Mr. Gilbert, to his family, and we've done a couple of special things today. One, we've relettered the train as it was in 1927 when it came out new from the Vulcan Ironworks in Wilkes-Barre. And we have a special display that we're going to unveil. But for right now, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. David Lynn, who has done a tremendous amount of research on the rest of the story, the history of the locomotives from 1927 until we acquired them in 1962.
Oh, now I have to read.
Louder, David.
Oh. First, I want to thank the board members, the employees, and the volunteers of Ashland Community Enterprises for allowing the Gilbert family to have a party at your place. You could have politely said thanks but no thanks, but you didn't, and so thanks. I want to thank Dennis Kane. When we got together, I think it was back in January, and Dennis said that he was going to declare William Gilbert Day, and I had no idea what that meant. At the time, I didn't realize he was the mayor and he could declare whatever he wanted, so, but I appreciate that. Is Dan Foreman here? I just wanted to thank Dan Foreman, who's the sales manager of Kurtzanavi Press in Harrisburg. They're the company that I went to with my ideas, and they basically put them together. And I don't see Dan, so we'll move on. Thanks also to my brother Rick, cousins Roger Gilbert and Bob Ray. And to my Uncle Bob and Barbara. Uncle Bob was still with us when I first contacted everyone. His contribution paid for most of this tribute. I remember talking to Barbara at that time. She told me how thrilled he was and that he was going to make it to Ashland. That's why his name is on the display. I must also acknowledge someone else who is not here, Mary Gilbert Frasso. Many years ago, I had a college project to compile my family history. Aunt Mary sent me a wonderful letter about her father. Much of our biography about Willie John comes from that letter. And Jeannie now has that letter. Lastly, this project is a special gift to Julia Gilbert Lynn. Can you read this?
He remembers when he first...
Start right there.
Oh,
Start right with the word mom.
all right. Mom, I remember when I first asked you to tell me about your father. You really didn't know much about him. Together, you and Rick and I have pieced together this story. It's a terrific story, and I'm glad we did it. This is for you.
As I mentioned Paul Harvey before, the rest of the story, through the kindness of the Gilbert family, we're pleased and proud to be able to present the rest of the story, the true histories of the locomotives here at the Pioneer Tunnel. And we have a beautiful display that was just donated by the Gilbert family. Congratulations and thank you to Mr. Lynn for the wonderful research he's done on that. At this time, I'd like to ask Andrew Lynn to come up and unveil it, because Andrew's been here many, many, many times and helped carry this in.
Should I do it? What?
Thank you, Andrew. As Dave said, I wear many hats in the borough of Ashland. One I'm proudest of is to be affiliated with the Pioneer Tunnel, but I'm also the mayor of Ashland, and as mayor I'm proud to issue a proclamation. And whereas William Gilbert started his career in the anthracite mining industry at age 9, and whereas William Gilbert became the sole supporter of his family after the tragic death of his father, Nicholas, and whereas William Gilbert worked diligently and was able to put his sisters Ida and Mabel through college while still supporting his mother, and whereas William Gilbert put himself through college and became a mine foreman at various collieries in the Schuylkill, Carbon, and Luzerne counties, and whereas William Gilbert went on to become a successful tunnel and strip mine contractor in the Hazleton area, becoming one of Hazleton's most prominent citizens in the process, and whereas William Gilbert died tragically at a young age, leaving behind a young family and a thriving business and a lasting legacy, it is therefore proclaimed that in honor of William Gilbert, July 21st, 2013, shall be known as William Gilbert Day in the borough of Ashland. And we're pleased to have our train lettered as it was, brand new, as ordered by Mr. William Gilbert in 1927 from the Vulcan Iron Works, and Tony's going to bring that up now.
That is loud noises. Right here.
Folks, thank you very much for coming. That concludes our brief ceremony. Again, thanks to the Gilbert family. At this time, we're going to take our regularly scheduled run. When we come back, we're going to take the Gilbert family on a special Gilbert family special run.